Assalamu alaikum. One evening in April 2006, someone sat at a kitchen table, frantically cutting up a newspaper. They were finishing a very important project. They clipped the last letter, pasted it onto a sheet of paper, and leaned back to read the message they had assembled from scraps. It was a warning. Close your business now, or more of your family will die. But the person who sent that letter made one fatal mistake. They licked the envelope, and on that envelope flap was their DNA. Hidden among dozens of condolence cards was the killer's confession. This is the story of how a love triangle, a frozen lake, and a green pickup truck led to one of the most calculated murders New England has ever seen. On Sunday afternoon, March 12, 2006, 39-year-old Michael Zemiti, Jr. drove his ATV across a frozen lake in Freedom, New Hampshire. The air burned his cheeks, but Mike was smiling. He had just bought a vacation home near his parents' place. He owned a successful concrete pumping company, had a wife named Michelle and 3 kids. On paper, life was perfect, but success had a cost. Long hours at work meant Michelle was often alone with the children, and loneliness, as Mike was about to discover, can lead to dangerous decisions. As Mike crossed the lake, he saw another ATV approaching. The driver was his neighbor, Sean Fitzpatrick. For years, Sean had been a close family friend, so close that Mike's kids called him Uncle Sean. But last summer, Mike had learned the truth. Michelle had an affair with Sean. Now, Sean was waving him down. Mike hated confrontation, so he stopped. Sean didn't waste words. I wanted to apologize. About last summer. About Michelle. Mike felt his stomach turn. He wanted to scream, but instead, he just said, "It's all good." He didn't mean it. He just wanted to escape. He turned his ATV around and sped back across the lake. He didn't know that this would be the last normal conversation he would ever have. The next morning, Monday, March 13th, Mike arrived at Allstate Concrete at 7:39 a.m. It was raining. He unlocked the side door and climbed to his second-floor office. Security cameras from a nearby business captured everything. At 7:44 a.m., just 5 minutes later, an unknown green pickup truck pulled into the parking lot. At 7:50 a.m., that same green truck sped away. At 8:02 a.m., Mike's father, Michael Sr., arrived. He tried to open the side door, but something was blocking it. He peered through the crack. A man lay face down in a pool of blood. It was Chester Roberts, a part-time driver for the company. He had been shot once in the back. Michael Sr. ran inside, screaming his son's name. He raced upstairs to the office. He found Mike slumped in his desk chair. He had been shot twice, once in the chest, once in the face. The killer had not come to rob or argue. They had come to execute. YouTube safe note. The scene is described as a tragedy, not glorified. Focus remains on the investigation. State Trooper Kevin Baker and Detective Richard Cass took the case. They had 3 main theories. Theory number 1. The Mafia. The Zemitis were Italian-American, contractors working on Boston's Big Dig, AU, massive project plagued by corruption and mob deals. But a deep dive into the company's finances showed nothing shady. The mob didn't fit. Theory number 2. A disgruntled relative. Mike's cousin, Hank Jennings, had sued the company over unpaid overtime. He was openly angry, but Hank had a solid alibi. He was at work when the murders happened. And the shotgun shells found at the scene were 16 gauge. Hank owned shotguns, but none of that caliber.
Theory number 3, the wife or the lover. Michelle admitted to the affair with Sean, but she was home with her kids at the time of the murder. And Sean? He told police he was in Freedom, New Hampshire, 2 hours away. A neighbor even confirmed seeing him at 9 a.m. There was no way he could have driven to Wakefield, committed 2 murders, and returned in time. All doors seemed to slam shut. 5 weeks after the murders, Mike's mother received a terrifying letter in the mail. It was made from cut-out newspaper letters. Close business now or more family will die. It looked like something from a mob movie. But Trooper Baker thought it felt fake, performative, like someone was trying to mislead the investigation. Then Baker remembered something. When he and Cass first visited Michelle's house, he had seen a large stack of condolence cards on her coffee table. Dozens of them, from friends, neighbors, and family. Baker asked a simple question. Did Sean Fitzpatrick send one? They found Sean's card. They tested the envelope flap. His DNA was a perfect match to the DNA found on the threatening ransom letter. His palm print was also on it. What about his alibi? The neighbor who saw Sean at 9 a.m. She called back to amend her statement. She admitted that she had seen him later in the day, not in the early morning. That created a large enough time window for Sean to drive to Wakefield, commit the murders, and return home. Really happened. Here is what the evidence revealed. 1. Sean Fitzpatrick wanted Michelle for himself, but Michelle told him she would never leave Mike unless something happened to him. 2. Sean took that statement literally. He stole a neighbor's green pickup truck. The neighbor was out of town. 3. At 7:44 a.m., he drove into the Allstate concrete parking lot. He climbed the stairs to Mike's office. 4. He fired 2 shotgun blasts before Mike could even stand up. 5. As he ran back down, Chester Roberts walked in through the side door. Sean panicked and shot Chester in the back. 6. He fled at 7:50 a.m., returned the stolen truck, and went home to freedom. 7. To throw off police, he sent a fake Mafia-style ransom note. He even licked the envelope. The motive, not money, not revenge, just a twisted love. In June 2006, Sean Fitzpatrick was arrested. He was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder and received 2 consecutive life sentences. Michael Zimiti Jr. and Chester Roberts were not killed by the mob, or by a disgruntled cousin or by a wife. They were killed by a neighbor who smiled at them across a frozen lake. The lesson in this story is haunting. Sometimes the most dangerous people aren't strangers in the dark. They're the ones who wave at you from across the street, while already planning your end.